Hello and welcome to Jeffersonville High School for this matchup between two Hoosier Hills Conference teams from the Sectional 15 between Floyd Central and Jeff. We've got a great one in store for you tonight. But before we start, we are going to toss this over to our sideline reporter, Lily Hare. Lily, take it away.
Lily Fondrisi here with Jeffersonville head coach Andrew Grant. Coach, how do you think Floyd's going to perform tonight as a team and a competitor, and what do you think your team needs to do in order to win?
Yeah, Floyd has a lot of length. They have some shooters on the floor. Highbreeder's a very good basketball player. We've really got to make sure that we're pressuring them, taking them out of what they want to do offensively, and we really got to make sure that we keep them off the glass. Their length, they rebound, get a lot of second chance opportunities, so we really have to limit those tonight.
What do you think you're going to do in order to shut down their offense?
We've got some things that we'll do. I can't give it away, but you got to take Highbreeder out of it. Got to make sure that you get to shooters. Their post-ups are good. You got to make sure you don't let the ball into the paint. But the big thing is the second chance opportunities. You got to make sure that you're only limiting them to one shot per possession.
All right, thank you, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Great interview there by Lily Fondrisi. I'm correcting myself. I said Lily Hare. I do apologize for that. But back to this one, guys. What are you expecting this one? I got Chaz Waters and Marcus Combs here next to me, guys. What are we expecting?
I mean, when these two teams play wide, it's always a fun one.
Well, the last two have ended in buzzer beaters. The last one on this floor resulted in a buzzer beater right from where Jake Highbreeder is shooting it right now from Darren Starks. And the one after that was Jacob Jones, of course, that one at Floyd Central. But, it is always a good one between these two teams. They're both two very good teams, rival games, so it's always a tight one in that one. So you can never go wrong with a good rival game.
Yeah, it's especially been fun if you're a Jeff High fan.
Oh, yeah.
Because those last two buzzer beaters have been on the end of Jeff High, and, really electric crowds for both of those games, too.
I have called those last two games. One, I was with WNAS for the first time, and the second one, IHSA TV, and just amazing games on those. It was awesome to call that. And what a huge moment to call on that one. The place erupted at both places. Of course, that was before we had this pandemic and we could pack these gymnasiums full.
Right, it's a lot. It feels weird now.
It does.
In a game like this to have such few people here, you would expect a sellout crowd in any other circumstances. But
so here as our clock winds down at 15 seconds, we're getting ready for our national anthem from our very own WJHI student, Jasmine Fondrisi, as she gets ready to perform here for our national anthem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, the Jeffersonville community is asking everyone tonight to join in for a moment of silence. Please keep our own Addison Duran and her family in your thoughts and prayers during their difficult times. Thank you. At this time, we ask that you please stand, remove your hats, as our Jeffersonville ROTC honors our great country by presenting our colors and the playing of the national anthem. Cadet Airman First Class Joanna Maldonado will be carrying the colors. And now our own Jasmine Fondrisi will honor us with singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Johnson Arena on the campus of Jeffersonville High School for tonight's matchup between the visiting Highlanders from Floyd Central High School and your Jeffersonville Red Devils. Let's meet the starting lineups tonight. First, for the visiting Highlanders of Floyd Central. Starting at one guard, a junior, number 12, Max Trippier. Starting at another guard, a senior, number 21, Jake Heidebrader. Starting at another guard, a junior, number 31, Cole Harrett. And starting at forward, a sophomore, number 33, Caleb Washington. The Highlanders are led by head coach Todd Sturgeon. And now, the starting lineup for your Jeffersonville Red Devils. Starting at forward, junior, Brian Smithers, a 6-foot junior, number 4, Brian Smithers. Oh, excuse me. Starting at Jeffersonville, a 6'5" junior, number 1, Will Loving Watts. At guard, a 5'9" junior, number 2, Kobe Studemeyer. Starting a junior, a 6-foot junior, number 5, Jared Tyson. Starting at forward, a 6'5" junior, number 11, Brandon Razor Moore. Starting at center, a 6'3" sophomore, number 35, Monty McGee. Your Jeffersonville Red Devils are led by head coach Andrew Grant.
Now as we get ready for our starting tip-off, we will have Washington tipping off for Floyd Central. Red Devils still coming onto the court, so we're not sure just yet who's going to be tipping for the Red Devils. It will be Will Lovings-Watts, so we'll have Washington and Will Lovings-Watts tipping here. Both teams got their starting 5 out on the court here.
Like the new gray unis for the Red Devils.
They look great. Those brought in by Alan Muncie at arc. Nice surprise for the team.
As long as as you mentioned, the Oregon-style Floyd Central unis look pretty sharp as well.
Both teams look very well tonight in their uniforms. The tip is up. Lovings-Watts wins it as McGee comes down with it. Studemeyer going to cross the timeline here with the ball. Guarded by Tripcher. He leans to the right, dishes it over. It's Lovings-Watts with it. Back to Studemeyer. Over to Razor Moore. He puts up the 3, and it rolls off the side. No good, but rebound by Monty McGee. And there is going to be a travel on the play by Monty McGee, and it will be Floyd Central ball. Coming from out of bounds, that's going to be Brady Moore passing this one in. Looking for Heidebrader, he gets it in. Guarded by Tyson. Guarded close by Tyson, I should add, and they're going to toss this one right out of bounds. And the referee calls off on Will Lovings-Watts, and Cole Harrett will now pass this one in for the Highlanders. Back into Jake here, back over to Harrett, cross court to Tripcher. He is a dangerous shooter, and there will be a travel call on Tripcher here, so sloppiness from both teams to start off this game. Definitely not what you're looking for here. As Razor Moore is going to pass this into Studemeyer to get us kicked off here with 7:32 left. Still tied at 0-0.
I like the Red Devils starting out in the full court pressure, though, Wyatt. I think that's a very smart move on Coach's part.
Absolutely. Especially because Floyd Central has such a young roster. Many guys probably not acclimated to the full court pressure yet as Lovings Watts drives inside, misses, gets his own rebound, and misses again. Rebound by the Highlanders' very own Highbreeder. And Harrod is going to bring this one up the court here on the right side.
Wow.
There is going to be a foul on the far side of the court there.
That's good defense.
That was very good defense, but they are going to call a foul on it.
Not the person you want to be called for the foul either in the early
Definitely
of the game.
not. Way too early for that. Still 0-0. Moore drives inside. It's going to be blocked, sent back by Razor Moore. Now Lovings Watts on the other side. And they're going to say Lovings Watts stepped out of bounds.
Lovings
on
Watts
this
looking
far
over
side.
to Coach Grant's, not really agreeing with the call.
That's the second time so far that he has not agreed with the call and looked over at Coach. Which there's nothing wrong with doing so. You just got to watch what you say and what you do. You don't need a technical or any other kind of a foul sending you out of the game early. Moore is going to bring this up. The sophomore forward, guarded by Monty McGee. Over now to Tripture, guarded by Studemeyer. Over to Highbreeder. Maverick, as they call him. Mr. Air Force puts up the jumper. It is going to be no good. Rebound Studemeyer. Red Devils on a fast break here, bringing it up the court. Back out to Tyson, over to Razor Moore. He puts up his three, and it's going to be no good. We're all tied at 0 still with 6:30 left in this game. Washington with it at the top of the key. He's going to pull up for his three, and that one off the backboard, no good. Rebound by Lovings Watts. So he brings it up the left side here. Drives inside, looks for a Euro step, doesn't have it. Tyson with the three in the corner, no good.
Either team could hit water if they jumped out of a boat right now.
Exactly. I love the dodgeball reference, though. But no, definitely sloppy play from both of these teams so far. Defense has been great. That's what we should add to this. It's Harrod with it at the top. Surveys looking for somebody. Nice pick by Moore on Lovings Watts. Clears up a little bit of space. Over now to Tripture. He drives left. Pass it inside to Moore. Moore is a good shooter from mid-range. Now to Tripture. He drives inside. Looks for his shot. Nice pump fake. Pass is no good, though, over to Washington. Studemeyer on the fast break now. He pulls up from the free throw line on the left side. It's going to be no good as well. Rebound, Highlanders. And we have currently played 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and we have no scoring so far.
A lot of great
Highbreeder
defense
drives
play.
inside, and it's going to be no good. They're going to call a charge on that on Highbreeder.
The intensity by both teams is just insane right now, going back and forth. You know, usually you'd see the offense going back and forth, but the defense has been insane.
Yeah, Chaz, like I was saying earlier, a lot of defense being played already during this game.
Highbreeder does not agree with the call, so far, one foul for each team by the star players. As Kobe Studemeyer has it on the logo. As he steps left, or right, excuse me. Over now to Razor Moore at the logo. Lovings Watts with it, back to Razor Moore. To Tyson. Tyson back out, almost stolen by Moore. It is stolen by Moore. Fast break for the Highlanders. Over now, Tripture puts up his three. It is going to be no good off the front of the rim. We stay 0-0. Driving inside here, Razor Moore puts up the layup, and we will have our first points of the game almost halfway through the first quarter. It is going to be good from Razor Moore on the layup. As Harrod brings it up the court, guarded by Lovings Watts. This is a big mismatch. Moore with it now, guarded by McGee. Moore looks right, passes it over to Tripture. Now Harrod with it. Tripture surveys, over to Moore, mid-range. That's where he's comfortable. It is no good, though, from Moore as Studemeyer brings this up across the timeline. And now over to Lovings Watts with it. Driving right, puts up his three, and it is no good off the back of the rim. Rebound Highlanders, that one from Tripture. As Highbreeder brings this one across, he's guarded by Tyson. He drives left, over to Harrod, now to Washington. Washington looking for somebody, finds Harrod. Harrod guarded by Lovings Watts. This is a huge mismatch. We could see this a lot tonight, as now he has picked up his dribble. Now over to Moore, guarded by McGee. Moore has it at the top of the key, over now to Tripture inside, almost stolen, no good. Jake Highbreeder drives to the left side of the basket, puts it up, and the Highlanders are now on the board finally. After over half of the first quarter has ticked off here, we're at 3:28, and it is still 2-2 in this game. as we are seriously staring down the barrel of a possibility of a 2-2 first quarter score, and that has got to be the lowest score between these two squads ever. It is very close. We got a lob here. No good. Looking for Will Loving-Swats. Inside here to Moore. Moore gets it stolen away by Razor Moore. Now Loving-Swats comes up and dunks it. That's a nice inside shift from Hybrid.
Razor Moore turning off defense into offense as he so often does.
Now over to Harrod. Harrod's going to pull his three from deep. It is no good here, and it will stay 4-2. Rebound Highlanders, though, inside here to Tripcher, and a nice steal from the defensive man for this Red Devil squad. That is going to be Jared Tyson, as Loving-Swats will check out here. And number 0 for the Red Devils, that is going to be Tavian Palmer. He's going to check in here. Into Sella Husky, who checked in as well. Potes in for the Highlanders as well. Over now as Potes has it. Coming to left side, pulls up from the free throw line. It is no good, bounces out. Rebound, Razor Moore. Razor Moore brings us up the court on the fast break. Tries the Euro step over to McGee under the basket. And we are going to have a foul underneath the basket before the shot. It is going to be a push inside. We'll see who they call that on.
Smart pass there by Razor Moore.
Great pass there by Razor Moore. And that's what I admire about him so much. He is not a selfish basketball player, even though he is a great shooter. He is always a pass first guy. And now he is going to pass this one in. He dishes it up top with Tyson with it. Almost loses it, but he got it back. Studemeyer at the logo.
Jeff really needs to get something going. See if somebody can step up, get him some points here in the first quarter.
We have a drive inside here. Palmer with it. Over now to the corner. Studemeyer puts up the three. It is no good. And the Highlanders take back over with 2 minutes left. It is 4-2, the Red Devils lead. Hybrider coming across the timeline here. Over to Potes. He drives inside. Over now to Harrod. Harrod's going to pull that three. He loves to do it. It is no good, though, as Potes comes back out with it. Potes drives to the right side. Looking for somebody to give this to. Picks up his dribble. Over to Hybrider. Mr. Air Force with it. Maverick driving left. Over to the side here. This is Washington. Puts up his three. It is going to be no good as well. Ball bounces around, and it is a loose ball on the ground. This ball still going all over the place. Tyson with it now. And we are going to have a timeout for Jeffersonville. And we've seen Tyson do that many times. He falls on the ground and calls timeout. Sturgeon wanting a reasoning for why there was no travel call on that.
Well, you know what, Wyatt? Speaking of Jared Tyson, that was a surprising move today. Him getting the start tonight, that was big time. I think Coach Grant saw something in Jared Tyson during the New Albany game.
Yeah, well, he played great. And that's something I talked to Coach Grants before the season even started, and it was the day that he got all of his football players from the football season, and he was really excited about having Tyson on this roster. He said he's a great defensive player, incredibly athletic, and that's all he's been all year, and he's played well enough that he's earned himself this starting spot. As we saw, he was really single-handedly the reason why Jeffersonville was able to get back into that New Albany game with some key defensive plays, that steal leading to the layup on the other end of the court by him.
And I'll tell you what's so good about him and a lot of these Jeff players is they all know their role. You know, Tyson isn't going to go out there and take a lot of shots.
Absolutely.
He knows his identity as a defensive player and somebody that can get those hustle points.
Kind of that bulldog.
Well, and that is huge for your team when guys know that and they're unselfish. That is huge. Now Studemeyer crosses the timeline, sitting at the logo. Over now to Loving-Swats. He's going to drive right. Over inside to Palmer. Palmer puts up the layup. It is going to be blocked. Palmer lands out of bounds. Rebound by the Highlanders as they're bringing this up the court here. Nice dish inside to Sella Husky, the almost 7-footer, and he is going to be fouled. And that will send him to the line.
You know, sometimes, Wyatt, there's just nothing you can do about that shot.
Oh, yeah. And Sella Husky is one of those guys where if he is on, he is on. He puts up a lot of great hook shots, and they fall for him. But if he is off, he can definitely have an off night. But so far, he has played very well as he ties this game up at 4 with 49 seconds left. Here's we're going to have number 3 for the Red Devils. That's going to be Florence checking in here for Palmer.
49 seconds left here in the first quarter. Your score is 4-4.
And the referee's working out something over here about Tripcher coming in, so they're going to let him come in here. And he's going to check in for Harrod. I believe he was probably coming in for Selahusky, and Selahusky got fouled. That sends him to the line. So they will keep their big man in, and he will take a free throw here. As that free throw is going to be up and good, making it 5-4. The Highlanders lead with 48 seconds left. Studemeyer with it. Guarded by Potes. Studemeyer at the logo, over now to Lovings-Watts. Guarded by Washington.
A lot of back screens set here by Jeff.
It has worked well for them so far in previous games. As Razor Moore has it, guarded by Tripcher. He's going to drive inside, looks inside to McGee. Ball rattles around, and the Highlanders come up with it. That's going to be Tripcher with it. 19 seconds left on the clock here.
You know, Sturringer is going to want to hold for the last shot.
Oh, most definitely. And now Tripcher has it. Now the ball bounces around, and we are going to have a foul on Will Lovings-Watts.
That's another one, Wyatt.
And that is 2 fouls for Will Lovings-Watts in this first quarter in a very low-scoring game. That is currently 5-4 with 8 seconds left. So the Highlanders here. Potes to pass this in. We're getting close to that 5-second mark, and I believe, yes, we got it there.
That was great defense. I want to point out
it was.
Jared Tyson on Jake Hybrander really shut him down. There was nowhere they could get the ball, and Grants is actually going to go offense or defense here and risk Loving-Watts being on the court for the last 9 seconds.
Well, the good thing is here, you're expecting to hold for the last shot, so just as long as he doesn't have any offensive foul, which I wouldn't see him having here, should be good. The ball will roll in here. Studemeyer's going to take it. 7 seconds left. Studemeyer drives left. He drives inside, puts up the layup. It is blocked by Selahusky. Potes puts up his long one. It is good if it goes. No good, though. 5-4, and that is the end of your first quarter. A very low-scoring first quarter. A lot of sloppiness, a lot of fouls, but most importantly, a lot of defense here from both of these teams. As Will Lovings-Watts finishes with 2 fouls in that first quarter. That could be huge going down the stretch. We could possibly see him sitting out a lot of that third quarter and maybe even some of the second quarter here. As he's one of those guys you got to have late in the game.
Yeah, and you hate it because that seems like the only reason he's ever not on the court this season is that foul trouble and his sloppy play at times can be the reason why he doesn't play as many minutes as he should.
I'll tell you what, Chaz. I think Will Lovings-Watts is coming out in this game with a mission. I mean, I could just see it into his eyes when he was out there guarding. I mean, the ferocity in his eyes, he looks like he's really laser focused on his game. I think he's trying to prove something in this game. And then 3 back-to-back years with a win against Floyd. I mean, that's huge.
But then again, you know, he gets the 2 fouls, so that intensity, let's see if the Red Devils, Wyatt, can, you know, rebound with him potentially not on the court for maybe 7 minutes of the second quarter.
Yep. Well, Floyd Central last year and Jeffersonville ended with 1-1 all year long, and Floyd Central won the important one in sectionals. So Jeffersonville has not forgot that, and they are definitely wanting to come away with this sectional, and that could be huge as both of these teams are very young, both of these teams with a lot of new beginnings here. And this is going to be Harrod bringing it up the court here, guarded by Florence. Now Stripter has it, guarded by Studemeyer. So he's going to give this one over to Washington. Washington loses it but gains it back. Over now to Harrod. Harrod to Tripcher, over to the corner to Highbreeder. It's going to be a block on the side here.
That's a good foul though. He had the baseline, so you'll take that.
If you notice the subs here, Wyatt, Jeff has subbed in MJ O'Brien to start out the second quarter. Really look for him to spark up some energy into this team.
So he played great last game, had a very key shot there. There's going to be inside miss from Washington. Tripcher with a whole year to shoot this one. He puts up a 3, it's going to be no good. And Studemeyer brings this up the court. Over now to Tyson. Tyson inside here. O'Brien, you just talked about him. He's out now to Studemeyer. Florence with it, now to Tyson. Tyson to Florence. Florence to Razor Moore. Razor Moore to Studemeyer.
Tyson passed up on an open 3 there.
And he might have not been confident with that, and that's definitely not a bad thing. Unselfish play. There is no shot clock in high school basketball, as we all know. Now driving right, that's going to be Studemeyer out to Razor Moore, who puts up his 3. It is going to be no good off the rim. And we have a rebound by Washington of the Highlanders, and he is bringing this up the court here. As Tripter now has it inside to Selahusky. Selahusky puts up his nice hook shot. Shades of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Puts it up, and that makes it 7-4 with 6:40 left. And Selahusky is playing very well tonight.
I mean, he's been the best player on the court so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Selahusky spent a lot of time in this offseason, as we'll have a three-pointer here from Studemeyer, going to be no good. Back to Selahusky here off the rebound from him. Spent a lot of time working out with guys that are big in this area, like Jake Hybreeder on his team. Trey Kaufman, another one of those big names he spent a lot of time with. And we're going to have a travel here from Jake Hybreeder as he falls down. And it will be Red Devil ball as they are down by 3 with 6:16 left. But he spent a lot of time working out in this offseason, getting himself together, because he has got the body of a college basketball player for sure. He's almost 7 foot tall, just under it, I believe 6'11", maybe 6'10". He's a big boy. Now Tyson has it in the corner. Driving inside, over now to O'Brien. O'Brien backs into Selahusky and puts up his layup. It is going to be no good. The Highlanders bring this one up the court. Tripter inside to Selahusky. Selahusky with all the confidence in the world. Is blocked.
Wow.
And it will stay Floyd Central ball off the great hustle play from Brady Moore. But what a block, as you mentioned there, Chaz, from Razor Moore. That was huge.
And Coach Grants just doesn't like what he sees on the offensive end, so he's going to take the risk and put Lovingswatts back in the game. Let's see if him rolling the dice pays off.
That is what kind of comes in these big games here. Selahusky has it over to Hybreeder. Hybreeder puts up his jumper. It's going to be no good. Lovingswatts, it rattles around, and this one is going to go out of bounds off of Selahusky. And it will be Jeffersonville ball.
Troy Ellis checking into the game here for Jeff High.
He got some playing actually against Christian Academy, and he actually looked pretty good. It was late in that game, but you know they're hoping his size can match Selahusky.
Yes.
He is a rebounding machine, Chaz.
Well, he is a big boy. He can definitely get down in the paint and work very well. As I think that's exactly what Coach Grants is looking for here, because so far nobody's had an answer for Selahusky. So J-Roy comes in, the senior. Over now to Studemeyer. Nice cross of Harrod here. This one is up and slopped around, and it is going to go out of bounds as Razor Moore, I think, lands on his ankle wrong. He looks fine now. Probably just a little bad landing, but he is walking around fine, no limp or anything. As we'll have Hybreeder checking in here for Selahusky. As Tripter has it, guarded by Studemeyer, over to Harrod. Guarded by Razor Moore. Moore with it. Guarded by Ellis. Over now to Jake Hybreeder. Back out to Cole Harrod. Inside to Moore. Over to Washington. He's got a decent look at this, and he puts it down to give the Highlanders a 9-4 lead with 4:40 left in this game. Now Studemeyer has it. Over now to Will Lovingswatts. So Razor Moore out of Florence. Florence over to Lovingswatts. He sees something he likes here. Over now to Studemeyer.
The zone of Floyd Central is really hurting the Red Devils offensively right now.
This one's going to rattle in and out. And you mentioned the zone. That is the Todd Sturgeon specialty. That 2-3 zone, it is lethal. Here as we have a three-pointer from Tripter. It is good. 12-4 is the score here with 4:10 left. The Highlanders, on a run here in this second quarter.
Now we know one of Jeff's strong suits is their inside game. I mean, when they're on the fast break, they're practically unstoppable. I mean, they're throwing oofs, they're throwing dimes. I mean, we all know that's their game. But perimeter shooting, I do not think that they would struggle this much this game. But as you mentioned earlier, Chaz, that perimeter, that zone defense, has really got them stuck.
And like I said, that is the Todd Sturgeon specialty. He loves that 2-3 zone. It frustrates a lot of great players. I have had many conversations with players in this area that are very good, and they always say, that Todd Sturgeon zone. The first time you mention Floyd Central, that's the first thing they say, that Todd Sturgeon zone. As he executes it very well. As we've seen it so far, they've held the Red Devils to just 4 points here in this first quarter.
Well, what it does, Wyatt, is it forces, not your Batmans, but your Robins to take the big shots. And we have not seen Will Lovingswatts really be effective.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's had an open look so far.
Not yet, no.
It's been, the Studemeyers, the Tysons, the Palmers, the McGees. they need to find some way to get Loving Spots and more in that two-man game more involved if they're going to have success.
Well, you know, Chaz, Louisville Loving Spots has come out really aggressive on the defensive end, but just cannot hit a jump shot right now.
Now Loving Swats with it. Now as he checks it down low. And there will be a charge on the play from Loving Swats.
The only thing is, it was a late call. The
Very
person
late.
under the basket did not blow the whistle, but the cross-court official did.
Well, I think he was just expecting him to, and he choked on his whistle there, didn't do anything. So now Loving Swats has 3 fouls, and we're not even close to halftime yet. So that is huge.
We talked about it. Grant's rolling the dice. It didn't pay off. They didn't even score with him on the court, and he picks up his third.
Now it's Potes with it, guarded by Florence. Inside pass, beautiful backdoor pass to Highbreeder. As he puts up the shot, it is going to be 14-4 here. Highlanders have a 10-point lead in this one with 3:40 left.
Wyatt, look for Razor Moore to get some more looks this half.
He's going to have to. Him or Studemeyer, one of them's going to have to step up here and put up some good shots. Both of these teams so different scheme-wise. We mentioned the zones and stuff earlier, but both of these teams so different here. As Tyson puts up his shot, it is going to be no good. Almost rebounded there by Razor Moore. It is not going to be. Pass up court here to Moore, though. Nice layup by him. It's going to be 16-4 with 3:13 left. The Floyd Central plays so slow, and they slow down the game. And Jeffersonville plays very fast, and they run up and down the court. They have the full court press. They play aggressive and fast. And that is what can beat that 2-3 zone 9 times out of 10. Here's the three-pointer up and good from Razor Moore, and a needed 3.
That's exactly what they needed.
Right on cue.
But here, that is kind of the, like you said, the quota to this one is being able to get up court quickly and get those shots off. We're going to have a nice defensive play here from Tyson, who sticks it out, gets the steal, as Studemeyer has it going to the left side. Over to Florence, to Razor Moore. Back to Florence. Time ticks down here, 2:26 left. Highlanders lead 16-7. Dish inside, It's going to be no good for Razor Moore. As Trips comes up the court, puts up the layup, and it is almost no good, but it does fall after it sits on the rim for what seems like an eternity, making it 18-7 with just above 2 minutes left as we're going to hit the 2:05 mark right now. Studemeyer with it. Red Devils slowing the game down. Florence with it now. Tyson drives inside, and he is going to be fouled.
Jared Tyson showing a lot of aggressiveness, not just on the defensive end, but really attacking the basketball. We've seen him do it a lot this half.
Razor Moore into McGee. Back to Razor Moore here. That is going to be a push for sure. We all saw the arm extension from Moore, and I believe that's going to be 2 fouls on Razor Moore in the last 4 or 5 seconds. And Selahusky's going to check in now, and I believe it's going to be for Moore. Yes, it is. Selahusky, look for him to have a big impact as he has all game long. This ball's going to come into Tyson. Studemeyer sitting with it, guarded by Potes. Over to Tyson. Corner 3, up and good.
By the freshman.
That was a great play. That one from number 13. That's going to be Brenton Moore.
It runs in the family, I guess, Wyatt.
Absolutely. Now Highbreeder with it. He's going to try his 3, and it is good. So we went from no scoring to a shootout. And that's exactly what you expect from these rivalry games. They are completely unpredictable and always a great fight from both squads. And yes, the Red Devils are down by 11 right now, but that is not going to stick for sure.
Oh, my
There's gonna be a
goodness.
missed shot there from Razor Moore, and a rebound for the Highlanders here. Dish up the court, low pass to Potes, and he's going to be fouled as Razor Moore was looking for the block off the backboard. And that will send Potes to the line for 2.
Floyd has really been capitalizing on these fast break possessions here, Wyatt.
Most definitely. They have been capitalizing at all angles on this game. Free throw going to be up and good from Potes, making it a 12-point game with 59 seconds left.
Special guest has arrived.
Yes, we have a very special guest for halftime interview here as Potes puts up his second free throw. It's going to be a 13-point game with 58 seconds left. Studemeyer brings it up. Guarded by Potes. Over to Razor Moore. Now as Moore has it, younger brother. Over now to in the corner. Studemeyer with it. Now to Tyson. Tyson drives left. Over to Moore. Now to Razor Moore. Razor Moore drives right. Up three, corner three. No good from Studemeyer. Rebound Highlanders. Pote's going to bring this up the court. He is going to sit on the left side. I believe they'll probably play stall ball here. Letting this clock run as long as possible, taking that last shot. Hybrider not on the court though. So the guy that they normally give the shot to, not out here now. As Harrett has it. Inside to Washington. Washington inside to Selhusky. Who else? It is going to be no good though, and that will send Selhusky on the foul to the line. 4-2.
He continues to just be dominant inside. I mean, the Red Devils they've played O'Brien, McGee, Ellis all on him, and there's been no answer.
Exactly.
And the tough thing with this is if you try to double him, Floyd has shooters.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't double him because if he kicks it out, I mean, it's money.
Selhusky hits the first free throw of two, making it a 14-point ball game with 3.3 left. Second free throw going to be up and good as well. Now as Jeff got to get up here quick, get off a shot here. They're going to take a half-court heave, and it is in and out from Razor Moore. That could have been huge to send to the locker room as we end our halftime score here, 25-10. And guys, what are we seeing from the halftime from the first half so far?
Yeah, first we're about to have an interview with Coach Grants, but really just Jeff has struggled offensively, and it's because of Will Lovingswat's Marcus. His inability to get going has hurt this offense and his foul trouble. So we're going to go ahead and send it over to Mondrisi and Coach Grants.
All right, Coach. Great first half, so far. What do you think your team needs to do in that second half?
We just need to make some jump shots. We're getting to the lane. We need guys to catch down around the rim and finish around the rim, be stronger with the basketball. But then, we've got some guys shooting some good looks, but hopefully they'll just start falling defensively. We got a little loose there in the second quarter, but we just got to get some shots to fall. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
And now as we jump back here, we have our special interview guest here with us as Chaz, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, well, I got with me a guy who is familiar with playing against the green and gold, sectional champion in 2020, Isaac Parker, Jeffersonville High School head football coach. Thank you for coming on during halftime, taking a few minutes with us.
I appreciate you having me. It's been a long time since I've had a little sports talk with Chaz, and I'm glad to be back.
So I just want to talk about, obviously the Red Devils, they're struggling at the moment, but talk about the family atmosphere at Jeff. Coach Grant, Missy Boyles. There's been it's a new era of coaches here at Jeffersonville, and you're a part of that. Can you just talk about that for a little bit in the family atmosphere here?
When I was hired, I mentioned this, preseason last year. When I was hired, I sat down with Coach Struck, as our strength coach. He teaches, sports performance during school. And he said something that kind of stuck with me. He said, 20 sports, one team, and he's hashtagged it numerous times about how we all work together. It was something I didn't see as much my first year as I have seen this year. I've had numerous conversations with Coach Grants, and a heck of a guy. I sneak into his practices sometime and watch the tempo he puts up. They're going to be okay. Maybe starting off a little slow, but they'll be all right. He's a good coach. Coach Boyles, we're blessed to have both of them here. Coach Boyles is a very good leader of the program, and I know good things are heading that way as well. But it seems that anytime the coaches see each other, there's always support. There's always phone calls after games, text messages to each other. Win, lose, everybody's there to pick each other up, and it's a great atmosphere that's been created.
So you were able to rally the troops this year after you started the season off struggling, but to put it away, but you end up winning the first sectional title here at Jeff since '07.
Sure.
And you've had a moment now, a month or so, to kind of, step back and really sink that all in. Just talk about that experience and, the way this football program is in the right direction.
It's been exciting. Just this week I went and met with the 8th graders again at both Parkview and River Valley. Invited them to our off-season workouts. I met with River Valley on Wednesday, Parkview on Thursday. Tonight we had I think 16 incoming freshmen here right out the gate. And there's I think between the two classes, real excited to say there's probably around 50 that plan on coming into our freshman school. So there's a little bit of buzz there, and that's naturally what that creates. These young men, it all goes back to the young men. They worked hard this season. They never gave up. It was their tenacity that put us in the position that we were in at the end of the year. Go back to the opening kickoff against Floyd Central. We fumbled that kickoff. They could have laid their heads down. They could have let it go then, but it talked, their mental toughness, their fortitude is the reason we were able to pull that off, and it speaks volumes. And that's spreading now. So now you're starting to see new faces come out, young men that we haven't seen before come out and want to partake in what we're doing. A lot of community members still trying to buy in and be part of what we're doing, and we're just excited to have the buzz and to keep growing from there.
And then you're heading into the off season now, and can you just talk about you've had a couple off seasons as the head coach under your belt. What are you excited with this group now to get back to work? To look forward to the 2021 season. Just talk about your off season outlook heading into 2021.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chaz, this is our first off season. We're hoping. I was hired in June of 2019, so we missed all the winter and spring sessions then. And last year, of course, we lost it because of COVID. So we got our fingers crossed that we'll be able to push an entire off season here. We're so excited about that. We've been hitting it now. We started at the beginning of December. The conditioning aspect of it has picked up again, since we've been back from spring break or from Christmas break, excuse me. And the energy in there has been it's contagious. It's to the point where I'm going home and I'm amped up, man. I'm excited. It's
You're already ready for football again.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm very excited about that. Very excited about the season, and it's a spring ball coming up. We're looking forward to a good spring ball season. We have never had one since I've been here, and I think we'll be able to build off of what we were able to accomplish last year and keep moving forward and set that as a foundation. And again, never set our ceiling. That's our motto. We're never going to set our ceiling. We're going to keep growing.
And you had a lot of seniors last year, so you're now going to go into a new era with a lot of new faces. Give the Jeff fans, a sneak peek of some of the names you're excited to get more of an opportunity to really showcase their talent in the 2021 season coming up.
And I don't know if you heard of a young man, Cole Phillips. He'll be back this year. Real excited to see what our offense can produce. Our offense is going to come back. We did graduate 4 out of 5. We did graduate 4 out of 5 offensive linemen, unfortunately. But I'll tell you some our anchor back on that is going to be Colin Corbin, a two-sport athlete. He's doing a real nice job in wrestling. And of course, we follow all of our athletes, both wrestlers and that play football and both that don't. One thing that we've always taken the model, I never have returning starters. There's never a guaranteed starting position. When you step into that, it's a competition. So from today all the way through, the last week of the regular season, last week of the playoffs, win, lose, or draw, there's always a competition of who's going to play. And I think if we create that competitive atmosphere, again, it goes back to we never get stale, we never get stagnant, we continue to grow. Defensively, I think we're going to be probably most experienced in defense. We lost the least. Our secondary is going to be stacked with seniors, and Davari Julian and Tyson Maddox will step back in the secondary again. We'll end up returning Caleb Thomas, which see him play basketball here tonight. Jared Tyson. These are all young men that are going to step back and be able to contribute for us immediately, both offensively probably and defensively. There's a lot of excitement coming, man, and it's our numbers continue to grow. So hopefully that competition continues to grow. We can go from there.
And Coach, you mentioned multi-sport athletes. Tyson, some of the names. Thomas. What is it like to see guys that you see on the field come out here on the court and play well as well? Is it cool to you to see those guys out there?
Oh, it's exciting, man. It's not just on the court. I tell you, I spent some time at some wrestling meets as well, and I love what Coach Struck does there with that family atmosphere they have in wrestling. So I think we have 29 football players that also wrestle. I think there's 9 basketball players, both at the freshman, JV, and varsity level that play basketball. I know that we've got some baseball players, and I like the idea of, yeah, sure, they can come to football if they don't play another sport. They can lift weights with us. They can go through some of the limited contact practices with us, but it's just not the same as getting out there and competing at those other levels. Plus, you're becoming a more well-rounded athlete when you play those other sports. So I support that, and I think it's great that we have 40 kids that are out doing that.
Well, lastly, I want to give you an opportunity. You had that second half run last year that really sparked and energized this football program. What's the next step for this program? Whether it be that first off season or you've only played one game in the new stadium. What makes you excited about the future and the outlook of the years to come?
Love the community support, love the alumni support. That's so exciting to get telephone calls from guys that I played with back in the 90s, people that were probably our parents that played here. The community support's so exciting. I know Mayor Moore's been big with supporting everything that we're doing as well, and of course we appreciate that. I think the part that makes it most exciting is just the development of the young men as they grow. They're buying into what we're doing, so you're starting to see that increase in grades. You're starting to see that increase in the athleticism. I can't put my finger on one specific thing. I think it's just the whole program, watching the program grow as a whole that makes it exciting.
Well, I want to thank you once again for coming on. It's great to see you again after that trip to regionals. We hope that we have a much better result in the second half for the Red Devils as your football team did in the second half of your season last year. So
I have faith in them and faith in Coach Grant. It'll be all right.
There you go. Thank you once again for joining.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you. Thanks, man.
Thank you. So now as we get ready here, the clock ticks down. A great interview from you, Chaz. You do an awesome job. Coach Parker, a great speaker as well. Very proud of his squad. Really proud of seeing the guys out here as we see one of his guys coming out now. That is Jared Tyson, number 5 for the Red Devils. But as we get started here in the second half, what are some of the keys you guys see for the Red Devils to get back into this one?
Offense, offense, offense. You'll give up 25 points and a half to Floyd Central. That's not the issue. It's can they generate some offense and some open looks? It seems like everything is forced, and Floyd Central is making it tough, but if they can get in a rhythm like they did in the New Albany game, you could see another comeback.
Well, now as we jump right into our action here, Studemeyer is with it. And we are going to have a foul on the far side of the court. It is going to be bad for either team here. It is going to be Brady Moore, and he now has 3. Or man, it was going to be Will Lovings-Watts. It was one of 2 bad things for these teams. Will Lovings-Watts now with 3 as well. 25-10 the score here with 7:47 left. Red Devils with it. Into Studemeyer. Studemeyer guarded by Highbreeder. So we do see Lovings-Watts on the court here. Selahusky did check into the game for Moore. He has been the man so far for this Highlander squad. McGee with it. Over to Lovings-Watts, guarded by, over now into the corner to Studemeyer. Back to Lovings-Watts.
Beautiful two-man game.
Awesome.
Kobe passed on the 3, and when he passed on it, I was like, why pass out on that open 3? And that's why.
He saw an even better look. There is going to be a turnover here for the Highlanders. This is going to go back to the Red Devils. As we saw Coach Grant's jumping up and down on that last play. His players went trotting up the court, getting ready to get back on defense. They're running a full court press. But needless to say, it didn't work out for them.
Well, Wyatt, you know what they say, you either live by the 3 or you die by the 3. To me, that's what I think is going to be what Jeff's going to need to do this half to get back into this game. I mean, Floyd's not going to get out of this zone, so Jeff's going to have to start shooting it a little better.
The perimeter shooting is definitely going to have to be better. As we see Lovings-Watts inside with it, inside to Monty McGee. McGee looking for a shot. It rolls around, and it's good, bringing this lead to 10. The Red Devils playing very well from behind, something we saw in that New Albany game. Now it's Harrod with it over to Washington. Now to Harrod again, now back to Washington. Cross court to Trippier, now to Highrider in the corner. To Harrod, pulls a deep 3, and it is going to go down, splash. 28-15 score now.
A little back and forth going right now.
Studemeyer brings up the court, now over to Lovings-Watts. Over to Razor Moore. Over now to Tyson. Tyson to Studemeyer. Now to Lovings-Watts. Lovings-Watts driving inside, and we are going to have a travel on Lovings-Watts. Lovings-Watts wanted the block there from Selahusky, but he walked before they could call it. So now we got the full court press from Jeffersonville. Harrod into Washington, back to Harrod now. He's guarded by Lovings-Watts. Over to Tripter here, guarded by Studemeyer. Driving left, over now to Highbreeder, guarded by Tyson. Now Harrod back with it, takes another three, and it bounces around for a good while, and it goes down as well, making this 31-15. It's a 16-point game, largest lead of the game for the Highlanders. And it is going to be a foul on the play on the Highlanders, or excuse me, on the Red Devils. We'll pick that foul up for you here in just a second. And it is going to be on it's going to be on the Highlanders. Max Tripcher, as Razor Moore checks this in here. Studemeyer with it. Now to Lovings-Watts. Over the corner to Tyson. Back to Lovings-Watts. Inside to McGee. Nice backdoor pass and a great look, but Studemeyer misses. That was huge. Highbreeder. Cross-court pass here. Tripcher. The three. No good. Now as Lovings-Watts gets this, he's bringing it up court with some pace behind him. Euros and in on the one-handed layup. Beautiful play.
Nasty finish there by Lovings-Watts. Oh my goodness.
Now Harrod with it. Over to Tripcher. Now is Selahusky wide open. Nice block though. Coming out of nowhere, it's Will Lovings-Watts. And Selahusky thought he had a nice layup there. Lovings-Watts says, oh nay nay. As Razor Moore puts up the layup, it is going to be no good. There will be a foul on the play. And Razor Moore hops back up, lifted by Tyson. And that foul, we'll see who the foul is going to be on. They're not going to call it. I believe they're just going to call an out-of-bounds play then. Studemeyer with a nice save over in the corner now to Lovings-Watts. As Lovings-Watts has it at the logo. Guarded by Tripcher. Over to Tyson. Tyson pump fakes inside to McGee. Backdoor pass was there. McGee did not see it though. Now as Lovings-Watts drives inside, loses it back. Now to Studemeyer, to Razor Moore over in the side. Now Tyson has it. Defense for the Highlanders looks impenetrable right now. And now it's over to Tyson. Now out to Studemeyer. He's going to drive inside. Got a decent look at it on the 7-footer. And he's going to take the foul there from Selahusky. And I believe that's going to be 2 for Selahusky here. We'll see in just a second.
That is his second.
31-17.
They got his third on.
It's his third.
31-17 is your score here with 4:08 left in the game.
Studemeyer puts up the free throw. It's going to be good, making this a 31-18 ball game.
And that shows you how much the Red Devils have struggled as Studemeyer makes both free throws. Those are his first 2 points of the game. And he needs to be the third guy for this Red Devil offense.
No, he plays a huge piece into this game. He hasn't been here offensively, but I will say defensively, he has played very well all night. So he's made his mark, just not in the mark that we've seen normally or where they've needed him so far. Hey, almost a steal there from Lovings-Watts. Sloppy play from the Highlanders. They got it back under control, and that is going to be Washington taking the shot here. That's going to be good, making it a 33-19 ball game. But onto the court is Will Fisher, who just is guarding Lovings-Watts. He's trying to come up the court. Highbreeder.
People in the crowd there wanted a foul on that three-pointer by Will.
33-19. It is a 14-point ball game here with 3:39 left. And that is going to be Harrod, guarded by Lovings-Watts. He almost loses it there. That is a big mismatch we mentioned all game. Highbreeder with it, driving inside, got a nice layup. Mr. Air Force puts it down. 35-19 the score, making this a 16-point game again for the Highlanders with 3:17 left here in the third quarter. And the Red Devils now have got to turn this around to give themselves enough time to come back into this game. They very well can. And that is not a good start. Missed by Razor Moore, rebound by the Highlanders. Clock ticks, 3 minutes left. Highbreeder with it, guarded by Tyson. Harrod with it. Now over to Tripcher. Now it's Washington with it. Now it's a Highbreeder. See dribbles. Pick set from Washington. Nice move off the screen there from Studemeyer though. Three-pointer up and gonna be no good from Washington. Now as Razor Moore passed it inside, Monty McGee can't get a hold of it. We'll see how he reacts though. He does just fine on the aftermath. Putting it down for 2 under the basket with 2:25 left. It is 35-21, a 14-point ball game. Harrod with it, out to Fisher. Now back to Harrod. Inside to Washington. This is going to be stolen by Razor Moore. We got a 2-on-1 coming, and Razor Moore loses it. Everybody wants a foul. There is no call though. The Highlanders end up with it. We're going to have a timeout by the Highlanders here.
Just sloppy play by the Red Devils, you know. They've come out trying to play with a lot of fire, you know, running up and down the court.
Which I can say they've done, but the problem is the Highlanders have had such a big lead so far. I mean, the Red Devils so far in this first 6 minutes, six minutes and 1 second to be exact, have scored more points than the entire first half in this game. They've put up 11 here in the third quarter so far and only 10 in the first half.
And you know, Wyatt, Will being one of their better defensive players out there on the perimeter, he's kind of having to limit himself out there. I feel like he's not being as aggressive as he usually is, and rightfully so, because he's got to watch because he's in a little bit of a foul trouble.
Yes.
And if he gets another foul and has to sit out for a while, the Red Devils can be in some trouble.
Well, and he is averaging 22 on the year. And tonight so far, he got into foul trouble so early that he hasn't really had an opportunity to expand his scoring. As we're going to have Highbreeder checking it in here. 1:59 left. It is 35-21.
And Coach Grant is just going to try to find a spark as he checks 3 new players into the game.
And Highbreeder gets a wide open layup, and that one is going to fall for him. And now coming up the court, this is Lovings-Watts. Over now to Razor Moore. Now Studemeyer. Now it's Palmer, back to Studemeyer. Lovings-Watts. Ball up, and it is going to be good. Falls down for him, making it a 14-point game again at 37-23. Full court press on the Highlanders here. Dish inside to Washington, and there is going to be a foul before the basket, before the shot.
Lovings-Watts got caught ball watching there as his defender just slipped right by him behind his back, and that's how they were able to draw the contact there.
And now Tripcher going to check back in here for Harrod, who's going to come out. Will Fisher still on the floor here, a guy that does not normally come in to the game for the Highlanders. Normally in the final stages of the game we see him. Now driving left, that's going to be Highbreeder. Over now to Washington, inside to Fisher, who drives up and puts up his shot. It is going to be no good. And there is a foul on, I believe they're going to call this one on Razor Moore. Now Fisher steps to the line. His team up by 14. Free throw is going to be up and good from Will Fisher as they call that foul on number 13, Brenton Moore, who is not on the floor. Second free throw up and no good from Will Fisher. I'd imagine it was Razor Morris who they were who they booked it for.
Jeff's
now Studemeyer.
Not on their game tonight, and you see it even at the scores table.
Most definitely. I was looking, I was like, I'm like, I don't think he's on the floor. And I'm like, well, let me check again. And I looked for 13. I was like, oh, that's Brenton Moore. Yeah, he's not. And now, as we will see, O'Brien checking in here for Tavian Palmer.
Well, again. I think this could be a potential great sign for Jeffersonville, as MJ O'Brien, I really think, can spark up this ball club.
Now Washington with it. Defense very good on this full court pressure. There's a big mismatch here with Potes with it.
Wow, they got away with an 8-second call.
That was close. Now as Potes has it. They might hold this to wait for that final shot. Dish inside here. Nice defensive play from O'Brien, who legitimately saves.
Oh.
They're going to call a foul on O'Brien.
No, they're going to say he hit it, but Washington just lost the ball.
I think Razor Moore, excuse me, not Razor Moore, excuse me. O'Brien did reach around. I saw his hand hit it out of bounds. That's why I thought it was a great defensive play. Because if Washington would have got a hold of that and turned around, he had a wide open layup. As this one's going to be passed out of bounds by the junior Kyle Potes. No, I thought they called a foul him there for a second.
Okay, yeah.
But no, it was a great defensive play by him, because if Washington would have got a hold of that ball and was able to turn around, it is a free basket, nothing but air and rim in front of him.
Well, that's what you're going to get from MJ O'Brien, just great, solid, fundamental play.
Yes, he's an awesome fundamental player. That is exactly what I was about ready to say. Now Will Evans-Watt with it at the logo. Clock ticking down here, 5 seconds. They're going to need to get a shot up soon. As Lovings-Watts, Studemeyer puts it up. Oh, and just in and out. As Jeffersonville did not get the shot they were looking for. It looked like the play messed up on that one, because
he might have had more on the fade, but he swung it to the corner.
Yeah, I thought he was going to take that shot there for a second. In all honesty, they're lucky they got that one off. It looked like there for a second they weren't going to get that off in the first place. But so far, it has been all Highlanders outside of the first quarter, as we finish the third quarter with a 38-23 score. 8 minutes left on the clock here. Both teams not really in foul trouble as for the bonus. Yes, both teams have 4 and 3, 4 being for the Highlanders and 3 fouls for the Red Devils.
You know, Wyatt, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, how these big rivalry games can be a little bit unpredictable, and I could not agree with you more. You know, a lot of people around the area kind of expected Jeff to really pull away with this one, and potentially even by double digits. But I fully agree with you of how unpredictable these games could be, and as we've seen, things have just not gone Jeff's way, and that's starting with the zone.
Well, that's something me and Chaz talked about before the game, how unpredictable that this game could be. I mean, we said we wouldn't be surprised whoever won this, and by ever how much it was. It could be a super close game, it could be a blowout, but these rivalry games, they can be so unpredictable. They can also be really good games in mismatches as well.
We were just fortunate enough the last 2 years to witness some of the best basketball I've ever seen out of a high school game.
Absolutely. Now inbound pass to Moore, cross-court. Hybrider got a decent look at it. He dishes it inside. Ball bounces around. Washington gets his shot up. It's going to be no good. Rebound by Lovings-Watts. This could be the moment to turn it around. The Euro, no good. Rebound by the Red Devils, though. Shot put up by Moore, no good again. And we're going to have a foul on the Red Devils. That might have been on Lovings-Watts. We'll see who they call it on.
No, they're going to get Brandon Razor Moore on the push.
And that'll give him 3 so far. And that'll even us all out on fouls at 4 for both teams here. 38-23. Ball passed up the court here with Moore. Started by O'Brien. 2 of the most fundamental basketball players in this area. Moore, one of those guys that has rediscovered the lost art of the mid-range shot. He is dangerous and lethal from mid-range. Now as Potes is with it, that ball bounced around. It hits off of Tripcher as it goes out of bounds. But they are going to call this a Floyd Central ball.
And you know, Wyatt, if we're talking about people who know how to play against Floyd Central, MJ O'Brien's one of those players, being the star tight end for this Jeff High football team.
And dual sport athletes are really making up a lot of today's rosters in sports. It's really cool to see guys that do that. And someone that I really give credit on is Coach Struck here at Jeffersonville. He loves and is all about dual sport athletes. He pulls for it here as Hybrider almost loses it. Cross court here to Harrod. Double teamed. Now to Washington. Cross court to Hybrider. That is not a guy you want to leave alone. Tripcher with it. Puts up the 3, no good. Rebound, Highlanders. You cannot be allowing offensive rebounds for the Red Devils if you want to get back into this game.
No box out in sight there.
And now, Harrett with it, guarded by Loving Swats. Now over to Highbringer. He drives inside on a sleeping Razor Moore. Not ready for that play. Drives inside, makes this a 40-23 ball game. Ball dished cross court here. It is Moore with it, and he is going to travel.
Jeff is just out of syncs. Just not been able to. Ever since Floyd went on that run in the second quarter, Jeff has never really had a response to it.
We kind of saw that in the New Albany game too, Chaz. I mean, once they get down, it's hard to claw themselves back into the game.
And that could be because, they are lacking in a knockdown shooter, so you would hope, they got a transfer in Jalen Fairman.
Yes.
He could be the missing puzzle piece, but
A little bit of confusion here cross court. Jake Highbringer checked out of the game.
and he's just going to take a timeout.
Okay.
So with 6:16 remaining, Red Devils down 23-40.
Well, I like how you touched on that earlier about the Jalen Fairman acquisition. How do you think that how he can really benefit Jeff in the coming games in the season?
Well, Fairman is a really good shooter. From the tape that I've seen on him, I haven't seen him play in person ever. Excuse me, but he's a really good all-around player. And like Chaz mentioned, Jeffersonville as of right now is missing that shooter, that guy that can step up and hit your big shots. And they have a couple of guys who could potentially be that, but the problem is, when you only have two stars like that lead your team, there's 5 guys on the floor. If you can pretty much cancel those 2 out, and you got to rely, kind of like you said, relying on your Robins, not your Batmans, sometimes it is hard to do, and I think Fairman will add a really good piece to this team that won't allow people to double, and I think Fairman could be a great addition to this team, or is a great addition to this team, not just because of how great of a shooter he is, but also because it will open up more looks for Razor Moore and Loving Swats as well.
Yeah, he's really got an all-around offensive game. Not only can he shoot, but he's really great at attacking the basket too.
We're going to have an awesome steal here and a dunk from Razor Moore as he goes coast to coast. They're down within 15 again. Highbreeder almost loses it over the corner to Tripcher here. Now back to Highbreeder. He's going to drive inside, and there is going to be a walk from Highbreeder. This could be the turning point if Jeffersonville hits a big basket here. There is still plenty of time to get themselves back into this game. At this moment, they are only down 5 possessions.
We all saw this against New Albany. Jeff started to go on a big run, but ultimately, New Albany, just ended up putting that to end.
And there we see it again. Sloppy play, loses the Red Devils the ball on an awesome opportunity they had. Highbreeder with it to Herrick, guarded by Loving Swats. Now to Moore, top of the key, now to Highbreeder, guarded by Razor Moore. Herrick with it, guarded by Loving Swats, over to Tripcher, guarded by Studemeyer. There's going to be a double team. He's going to lose this ball into the backcourt, and I believe we're going to have a backcourt. No, there's not going to be any backcourt violation. I thought he lost that himself, but apparently not. Over now to Herrick for the 3. It's going to be no good. Rebound by Loving Swats. And the Red Devils have to get something going here, or they might not be able to get themselves in this. And that is a good start here on a good basket from Studemeyer, giving himself 4 points on the game. And that will cut the lead to 13.
But as I touched on earlier, Jeff, we've seen them. They're starting to get on a little bit of a roll here. You just really hope it's not too little too late and that maybe they should have started in the third quarter.
4:39 left, 40-27 the score. Chaz, if you're Coach Grant in this huddle, what are you telling your team? What are you drawing up here to get your squad back into this game? You're only down 13, which is it's one of those leads where it's not too much, but it's not enough to where you can't get back into the game.
Right, and you could see him go to the traps that he did against New Albany. And the thing is, though, if you look on the court, Floyd has 5 ball handlers out there. So you're going to have to just try to force the issue somehow and be able to turn offense into defense. Or defense into offense, as I should say.
Washington's going to bring this up here. There's going to be a double team on the full court pressure. Harrod with it. There's going to be a backcourt violation. No. They're going to call a foul on Studemeyer.
I'm with you, Wyatt. I thought that would have been a backcourt violation.
There has been 2 times where I thought there was going to be a backcourt violation call, but no call on the backcourt violation just yet in this game. Almost pickpocketed there from Razor Moore inside. Moore has a nice look at it. He's going to hit this one home, making it 42-27. Studemeyer comes across the timeline. Now, as Razor Moore has it, he drives inside. He is going to get fouled. That will send Razor Moore to the line for 2.
Instead of settling for open three-pointers from the zone, we've really started to see here later in the second half, Jeff just attacking the basket and just trying to draw as much contact as possible. And for the most part, I mean, it's been paying off.
Razor Moore's free throw on that one up, and it's going to be no good. As you see now, our awesome backboard cam. That is one of my favorite camera angles that we have. As we have an incredible crew here with us, I want to thank everybody for an awesome production. And the second free throw going to be up and good here from Razor Moore. And now, Hybrider with it. Over to Washington. He's double teamed. Good pass to Hybrider, who has plenty of room coming up the court here. A full, almost all the way across the court dish. And now Washington sets up his shot. It's going to be no good. Rebound by Lovings-Watt. And he over to the corner to Tyson. Tyson puts up the 3. It's going to be good. Tyson single-handedly could have got him back into this game like he did against New Albany. That was a big three-pointer. And I thought we saw a shove there from Harrod, but no call.
They're letting him play.
I do like that when referees don't call, just let them play. And now Tripture with it, guarded by Lovings-Watts. Now the Highlanders trying to, in a sense, quote-unquote, take a knee, trying to burn all that clock as they can. Tick, 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 as they say. Not giving the Red Devils enough time to get back into this. More with it.
At some point, you're going to have to send a double or something. You got Washington on the perimeter. This is your chance. But you still don't see it.
Now Hybrider with it. Now here's the double. They back off. No, the double's back again. Moore with it. So I'm not sure how much time they burn off on this clock. Harrod drives inside, gets the layup. It's going to be blocked. I believe we're going to get a goaltending on that one.
Very close on that one.
It was very close. That one could have gone either way. Coach Grants does not like the call, and Coach Sturgeon loves it. As you would think on those close calls. That's one of those that can go either way, honestly. Studemeyer comes at the court and hits it on the foul. That could be huge.
You know, right when we think Jeff might be out of the game, they show us something, and it looks like they're right back in it.
But again, they're going to have what they did just now is not going to work. You know, Floyd Central just passing it around, killing
I think
clock.
They burned off like, what, a minute 30 on that? That was a lot of time. As Studemeyer puts up the free throw, that could be huge, making this a 10-point game. So they got to get back on defense here. They got to play some great defense inside to Moore, and Jake Hyber has a wide open layup.
What I don't understand is if you're going to double somebody, it's got to be Washington, right?
Yep.
And they doubled the wrong man there.
Tyson drives inside, got an open layup, and Floyd Central essentially said, go ahead and take that. We want the ball back to burn time off.
This game is really not over. I mean, it's only a 10-point game, 2.5 minutes. That's more time than you think.
You're going to have to get some turnovers, but the problem is, I mean, the team that Sturgeon can put out there with Washington and 4 guards, they take care of the rock so well.
Yeah. Well, they're all very unselfish players. They're all used to great ball movement, dishing it around. I would like to bring up, though, how much of a leader that Jake Hybrider has been. We've seen that a lot from him tonight and all year long. But just now, after that defensive collapse, and they gave Tyson the easy layup, he was yelling at his guys, clapping at them, hey, guys, we can't do that. As he is a leader for this Highlander basketball team. So he will be headed to Air Force in the offseason.
And when we talk about leaders and seniors and that kind of stuff, that's one thing that this Floyd Central team has over Jeff. I mean, they have a lot more seniors than this Jeff team does, and that could perhaps be in favor of them, you know, that leadership sense. And that's not to say that Jeff doesn't have leaders. That's just that you've got more experienced players on the other side of the court, and, you know, that sometimes can be real hurtful.
Into Highbreeder here, guarded by Tyson. And we are going to have a foul. And if there's a foul, they bring them back to the baseline. Does that still take off on their 8 seconds, or do they get a fresh set of seconds here? As we're going to see.
They're going to get him a travel on the.
That's huge. I think Washington stepped over the line as he was passing in was maybe what it was. Either way, Red Devils get the ball back. That's huge. Studemeyer with it, driving inside. Over now to Moore, now to Tyson. Tyson going inside, guarded by Highbreeder. Out now to Razor Moore as he puts down the shot. Red Devils showing no sign of giving up on this one. Into Tripcher. Now to Harrod. As he is guarded by Studemeyer. There is definitely 8 seconds there.
Wow.
As that is probably the second time that there has been a no call on 8 seconds.
I'm gonna need them to count a little bit faster, I guess.
And that basket is going to be good, making it a 10-point game. No call on that one. Three-pointer from Moore is up and no good.
Boy, did they need that one.
That could have been the turning moment. Studemeyer on the jump ball. Possession arrow says Jeff. Now can you imagine if the three-pointer would have went down? We could be looking at a possible 2-possession game here. At 4 points if a three-pointer was hit again.
Floyd just has been so disciplined. They've had cracks, but they've never let Jeff really back in the game.
And this three-pointer from Studemeyer is going to be no good. Highbreeder comes up the court, and I believe now, and the ball is going to be hit off of Razor Moore, and it's going to go out of bounds. It will stay Floyd Central ball. With 1:18 left here. Now Tyson guarding Highbreeder as he's passed this in. He gets it into Harrod, guarded by Lovings-Watts. Crosses the timeline. As there's going to be a travel. And now there's no excuse for this because Jeffersonville has had every opportunity to get themselves back into this off of turnovers, off of fouls, off of travels, whatever you want to say. They haven't been able to capitalize.
They just have never had the big shot or the big possession.
Now as it's over, Moore puts up the shot. It's going to be no good. There is going to be a rebound by Moore. He puts up his second shot, and it is going to be no good, but there is a foul.
Seems as if almost every big opportunity Jeff gets to really put them back into this game and for it to not really be over, they just cannot capitalize it. The basketball gods are just not in their favor right now.
Razor Moore steps to the line here for what could be 2 turning point free throws. He hits the first one. Still 58 seconds left. They're down by 9. They've cut the lead to single digits. And Razor Moore gets ready for his second free throw. It's going to be up and good, and we're going to have a Highlander and a Red Devil checking in. That is going to be Tavian Palmer, checking in, and that is going to be Kyle Pokes as well for the Highlanders checking in here. Nice defense here so far on this full court press as Highbreeder pushes inside, gets the ball across. Harrod with it, and there is going to be a foul on Moore. And that's not a bad foul. That's definitely a guy you want to get his fouls out. Because Moore, I believe, only has, that'll be his second. Yes, that's his second. But now the Highlanders are in the bonus.
And this is where, you know, the Highlanders are so good late in games because all 5 guys on the floor can hit free throws.
As the first free throw of the 1-and-1 is up and good, making this a 9-point game. And Floyd Central coaching staff is telling everybody to get back. They only have 1 guy under the basket. That's going to be Tripcher here. Harrod puts up the second free throw. It is off. As the Red Devils come up the floor here, they need a score. And that one's going to be good from Studemeyer, making this a 7-point game as Moore has it. Got to foul him quick, but that's not the guy you want to give the foul, as that will bring Will Lovings-Watts to 4 fouls, 1 more, and he is out of here. So if you're able to force an overtime, that could be something we're looking at later on.
Shooting the bonus for the Highlanders, number 23, Brady Moore.
And Brady Moore is an exceptional free throw shooter. But the Highlanders are going to send everybody back. They want everybody to get on defense. No free baskets, as this first one's going to be up and good. Moore very confident at the charity stripe as he gets ready to shoot his second one here to make this a 9-point game, and he does so. Studemeyer going to get this one in, but they're going to let it roll. Studemeyer took it a little early, I thought. I thought he'd wait for that one a little bit. Tyson puts up his three, though. High arcing. No good. Moore, I thought, stepped out. And there's going to be a foul on Moore. Moore fouled Moore.
Yeah.
Jeffersonville foul, number 13, Brenton Moore, his third, team's ninth.
And like we saw, Brady Moore, not the guy you want to send to the line with 30 seconds left. First free throw up and good for Moore. And he has a second one now. And the Red Devils, 3 guys at the line. And Moore's free throw no good off the front of the rim. He trots back up the court quickly. Hybrider with a steal. Over back to Brady Moore. He puts up the layup, and it is good, and that is the dagger. As you mentioned, Chaz, excuse me, sorry, buddy. And Tyson with it, driving inside, and he puts up the shot, but for no good here. As this is going to come up to Tripster. He has all day. I can see him swooping, and he does. And the Red Devils going to wave the white flag now. Your final score is going to be 54-44. Highlanders win by 10. And that is how we end this one so far. The Red Devils have not won any of their big rivalry games. And that could be something that we could look for to be huge coming into Seymour if they can keep a chip on their shoulder. But now, momentarily as we wait, we are about ready to send this over to Lily Fondrisi for an interview with Coach Sturgeon. Coach Sturgeon Jones. And we're going to send this over to Lily.
He needs you to go do his makeup.
Yes. As Coach Sturgeon
Tracy
is
here
an awesome
with Floyd's
guy.
Coach Sturgeon.
We go way back. Last
Great
year when
win
Floyd
tonight,
Central
Coach.
won their
Extremely
sectional,
fun game
I
to
interviewed
watch.
him after the
What
game.
are your
He
thoughts
put
on the game you played tonight?
Well, I thought we played an excellent game defensively in the first half to hold them to that point total. They obviously missed some shots. Both teams were missing a lot of shots early. And then they got in foul trouble with Will getting in foul trouble for them. That was a significant stretch in the first half as well. So we feel fortunate to come over here and get a win. They're a good team, young team that's going to get better throughout the course of the year. So we're pretty proud of this win and move on to the next one.
Right. Well, I thank you for being here, Coach. Congrats on the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you very much.
And now as we bring it back here to the broadcast booth, Wyatt Williams, Chaz Waters, and Marcus Combs with you here on 98.5 WJHI. 54-44 the final scores. Guys, if you want to quickly wrap it up here, what are some keys you took away from this game?
Really, if I'm Coach Grants, I wouldn't even watch this game. You're going to have to hit the reset button. Once Fairman comes back, hopefully they're a new team.
Yeah.
So, you would hope it's a new team for the sectionals with him. And, Floyd or New Albany, I guess, would be the only positive of the two losses. They didn't see Fairman. So, just you got to hit the reset button.
One great thing about that, Chaz, is you're glad you're getting Fairman now as opposed to right before sectionals, because when you're getting him now, he's now got a few games to get under his belt and really get used to this offense and used to this team. So now he has time to adapt and really get his groove going with this team.
And that is how we will end this one, 54-44 your final score. Wyatt Williams, Chaz Waters, Marcus Combs here with me. Guys, a great broadcast. Thank you for all your help tonight. Everybody on the production, great job as well. Thanks for everything. This is 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville. We'll see you next time.